What is going on, guys? Thank you for joining us today on Just the Snap. Today we are going to be
Hold
reviewing
hold on, hold the phone.
what
You called
what
us
what
just the snap?
did I really?
You just called us just the snap. We're fucking canceling this shit now. This is how it
Uh
ends.
what's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us today. Today on Jump the Snap, we are going to be reviewing different divisions in the NFL, starting with the NFC North. Okay, all right. So we're gonna start with the Lions, number one in the division, obviously.
Unfortunately.
Um, I'm not gonna try. I think we agreed we're not really gonna focus on this upcoming season. We're just looking at this past season.
Yep, yep, yep.
Um, so I mean they had an incredible run for all the injuries they had. Jared Goff, probably one of two quarterbacks who had kind of resurrected his career. Um, just a, I mean that two-headed running back monster they have with Gibbs and Montgomery, freaking
Hmm.
nuts. I think they finished what 15-2, right?
Uh, yeah.
15-2. Yeah, and I mean,
I
um,
mean, Gibbs was the whole reason why I managed to squeak into the playoffs for fantasy football.
oh, you had Gibbs,
I
huh?
He was my running back one, which everyone said not to do. I'm like, nope, I believe in that guy, even though he's a lion. I believe in him, and he did some wonders for me. And his, I don't know, he really can't. I feel like he was he hasn't lost a step. Like there was no sophomore slump with him this year. Like Sam Laporta didn't start doing stuff till just about the last third of the season, and that but Gibbs was pretty consistent the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean that defense, the defense too. I don't know the statistics, but I don't think they were bad. And most of the injuries were on the defensive side.
Hmm.
I know I kind of looked into it, but I think like on the points allowed per game, I think they ranked seventh. So I mean that was kind of impressive, I thought. And they're just young and they're kind of like scary. Um, they're they're really good. I think they're just really complete, and it should be interesting to see them healthy, and hopefully they'll be able to stay healthy this year.
Yeah, I thought it was funny how well it wasn't funny. It was really more annoying was how they just started acting like Philadelphia fans once they were winning. Like
Oh,
within 3 games, they were immediately acting like Philadelphia fans.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
But I
you
mean,
have no room to talk because you haven't won anything yet. You're having
yeah,
one really good season.
I mean, they're just really excited. I mean, it wasn't too long ago they had to wear brown paper bags over their faces.
Which
So
as a Packer fan, it's hard to relate, but I get it. But and like you're excited, but the legitimately be like bullying fans and treating people like shit because they're not Lion fans, and it's like that's Philadelphia type stuff.
yeah, and I mean, you
And
you
it was just funny how like when they finally did lose in the divisional, they were just like, well, we were never gonna go far because of all our defensive injuries. It's like, no, that's not an excuse because the Packers won a Super Bowl with a decimated team, and they even lost more guys in the Super Bowl. So you have five or four picks and 5 turnovers, whatever it was in that divisional, will lose you the game. That's why you weren't going to win because you never knew with Goff if he was going to throw 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions.
yeah, there was no in between with golf, was there? I mean, it was just either he was really on or the few games he was really off. He was usually on
Well,
though.
they
But
because of their defense, or because the Texans just suck so bad. That's the only reason they won that game, despite him throwing 4 terrible picks. And it's just funny that they just kept like immediately the second they lose the championship. Well, we were this wasn't our year. It's no, it was pretty close to your year. You don't want to admit that you guys had the chance to get blown out. It's just I don't know.
this is my honest take. I think as Packer fans, we've we've seen the Packers kind of I win a lot, but then like lose in big games. So I think it kind of humbles you more. Like you don't how do I word
We're
this?
seasoned.
Yeah, we're seasoned. We don't expect to lose or anything, but we just know that there's a chance that to lose. I think they're just used to starting to win. I think as that goes on in more successful seasons, you become a little more humbled and
Hmm.
uh but yeah, I agree. That was really annoying.
Uh,
Not all Lions fans, but a few.
it's just funny how fast they turned on the coaches as soon as they took their head coaching jobs after they lost the divisional. It's like we need Ben Johnson to be here forever. They lose the divisional. That fucking prick. It's just I couldn't. It's just amazing watching that. 'Cause like when Nathaniel Hackett went to the Broncos, I don't remember any Packer fans. And to be fair, Hackett is nowhere near a competent coach or as good of a head like offensive coach as Ben Johnson was. But it's like they're blaming Johnson for how that game went in the divisional, but you can't make a play that stops your quarterback from throwing an interception. Like, was
Yeah,
there dumb plays in there? Yeah, but Goff was turning that ball over. That game falls on the quarterback's hand in the end because he's controlling the turnovers. So
that offensive line too. I don't think they get enough credit. I mean,
yeah,
they gotta be up there. I don't know
they're
what
probably
they're
a top
ranked.
three offensive line.
I mean, yeah, they're incredible. It's
Eagles is probably
hard to.
number one, but
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
yeah,
But
I don't know. It's just they had a great season. They still have a talented team, and it'll be interesting to see what they do next year. But then I think as a when I was seeing who the options were dwindling down to for the Super Bowl, I was leaning pretty heavily towards Commanders, Bills, Lions, Bills, because I did not want to see the Chiefs or Eagles back in the Super Bowl. But who knows? Maybe they'll still be as lethal as they were last year. We'll find out with how their new coaches go. But
that'll be interesting. And they finished, like we said, at 15-2, so they're the team to beat in the division. And in second
unfortunately,
place, and in
uh,
second place, we got the Vikings, who
the
was definitely
Vikings.
the surprise of the division. I did not expect them to finish above the Packers for sure, and just be a game
Yeah,
away from the Lions.
I thought before the season started, I said if quarterback guru Kevin O'Connell can find the magic in Sam Darnold, they could be a good team. I did not think they would be literally neck and neck with the Lions for top team in the NFC and NFC North. Um, Otherwise, it was either going to be they were better than I thought they'd be, or they'd just be third or fourth place in the division. And they 14-2 headed into that game against the Lions, or whatever their final was, 14-3.
14-3. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were actually tied up, weren't they? It was last game was for the division,
yeah. It was
wasn't it?
they were 14-2, both of them, and
Yeah.
so it was just like I thought that. Then yeah, speaking of that, it's just funny to me that the Lions during these off-season rule changes, they were the ones pushing for. Well, if a team doesn't win the division, but they have a higher seed than these other guys in this other division that won a division, then they should be having the first round bye. And it's like, why are you the ones pushing for that? The Vikings should be the one pushing for that.
Yeah, it's insane that the Vikings finished where they did and they were fifth seed in the
It's
in the
like,
playoffs.
and
It was crazy.
it's just, and it bothers me because there's people that are like, well, that's how it should be, do it NBA style. It's like, no, freaking win your division. You get a first round bye, or get to play at home. That's that's the stake. That's the incentive to win. Is better chances in the playoffs. Have an edge
Yep.
in the playoffs. But it oh. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Minnesota Fight Queens. Okay, we're not the Purple Devils. Okay, we're
Purple Devils.
oh man, like I just fuck
And
Jordan Addison, man, for being so good. I hate that. I hate it. It's like you don't get a good wide receiver one at wide receiver two all the time, and it's just
yeah, they're stacked. They're stacked there. They have an excellent wide receiver too, obviously, and then they got Jefferson. I think when McCarthy went down the start, like the off season, I think most people wrote the Vikings off,
I
including me. And I was just like, okay. And then you have Sam Darnold. I'm like, okay, this should be good.
I was
And
expecting like a 9-8 season,
yeah,
and I'm
or
like,
yeah,
you're
like a
gonna
pretty
make Darnold look
mediocre.
good, but he was looking like an MVP for a while there.
He was kind of for a little bit in the MVP race. So I mean, that's saying something. So I mean,
But then they played the Rams, and it all fell apart
appa- apparently the Rams are their kryptonite. So I mean, they can't
twice.
beat the Rams.
Apparently, LaFleur is the only student of McVay that can beat McVay, because
Apparently. Oh my gosh.
Kevin O'Connell cannot beat McVay, and it's just like I remember like all the discourse there was when they lost in the regular season. Like, yeah, you lost your left tackle, there goes the game because that pressure was horrific on them. But uh, the whole I'm sure you remember the face mask that wasn't called.
Yeah, yep.
The face mask heard around the world, but
Yes.
it's like even Jared Verse or whatever his name was knew he did it, but they didn't call it, and there is plenty of proof the ref was looking dead at it, even though he's like, oh, I didn't see it, guys. I wasn't looking there. But it's just funny that Viking fans are like quick to say it's like, well, we would have won that game if it wasn't for that. It's like, no, you were on like the 2 yard line with like 37 seconds left, and that was third down.
Yeah, you still had to go the
You
distance. I
had
mean,
a miracle needed to happen for that to happen. And it wasn't going to
yep.
happen. Statistically, no miracle like that. Yeah, you might have got the touchdown, but ugh, your odds were not good to begin with. So to just say it was an automatic, like, oh, we're going to come back and win, you weren't going to come back and win. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, and then Aaron Jones, I mean, bless him, but like he was a pretty good this past
As
year,
long
this
as he
last
wears
year.
the Viking jersey, he is dead to me.
He's dead to you.
Until
Oh,
he
come on.
retires a Packer, he is dead to me.
I'm sure he'll retire a Packer. I
Well,
hope
he
so.
freaking better. But I don't. Yeah, he. I said he was gonna. Everyone was like, "Ah, he's just kind of there to be veteran help." It's like, yeah, he is, but if he stays healthy, he's gonna be good. Like us Packer fans didn't want to let him go. Jacobs and him, that would have been a lethal combo.
Oh my
For
gosh, yeah.
15 minutes, we had them both.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah. That was incredible. And then it was sad.
immediately. Oh yeah, we're letting Jones go for $6 million. They let Jones go. That was.
Imagine if they kept him.
I know.
That
Like I'm
would have been
happy with the
insane.
guys we got, but like if we still would have had Jones, like if someone said, "Oh, here's Saquon Barkley, prime Saquon Barkley for a bag of pennies," okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm not comparing, saying they're the same, but it's like that's kind of how it felt. It's like, what are you doing? But it's just yeah, with when McCarthy went down, it was kind of like for me, it's just kind of that like storyline aspect of like, well, there goes that guy. That kind of sucks. I wanted to see him see what he could do. I wanted the Vikings to lose, but I wanted to see what he could do. And then I'm like, he goes down. I'm like, okay, 9-8 season. They'll be competitive. See what they can do with Darnold, and then freaking 4-0, looking unstoppable. And it's like I remember talking to my Bears coworker. I'm like, dude, you got to stop them. I don't want the Bears to win, but you got to stop them. I don't know who can do it. And then the Lions came along, and they're like, "Ah, oh, no worries, we got it." And twice they swept them. Oh man,
Oh,
it's just,
did they not beat? I can't remember. Did they not beat the Lions? Was both losses
nope.
two of their losses to the Lions, or?
They got swept by the Lions, and they lost to the Rams. I think that was their only losses.
Oh, okay.
Let me double check. Um, but yeah, it's like now I'm very like now they're like with the Rogers discourse. Like it sounds. I'm confused what the Vikings are doing. And I know we're supposed to be talking about the season review, but I heard this after we talked last time. How the GM of the Vikings is like, yeah, we want McCarthy to be quarterback one. So does that mean he's gonna be quarterback one? Eh, let's see what happens with the Rodgers stuff. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, is he the guy or not? Is McCarthy behind in rehab? Did what you seen in practice in the preseason last year not make you so sure that he's ready to lead the team?
That's the only reason I suggested Rodgers, I thought, for the Vikings, because I think they're actually close. Like, they're really talented. I think, like, as a Packers fan, if Rodgers was on the Vikings, that would kind of worry me just a little bit. He didn't have like a bad season with the Jets, but I'm getting off topic again.
He
But
had, he had a. That's the funny thing. Rodgers once said a bad season for him is a career year for other quarterbacks, and that happened to
yeah,
Josh Allen. Like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
had comparable stats in certain categories, and it's like, and Josh Allen won MVP when Rodgers just had a bad season.
Isn't that crazy though?
It's yeah, it's just like oh man, I don't like I get that Rodgers is a dick, and he's a really out there guy who's really kooky, and he has cost games because of his selfish attitude. But it's like you're forgetting this is Aaron Rodgers' first ballot Hall of Famer. He still has it. He's not quite there anymore, but he still has something.
Yeah,
And like if
at
he,
least
oh man, if he had Jordan Addison and Jefferson to throw the ball to,
yeah. And you had Aaron Jones again in your backfield. Like
mm-hmm,
that is
he'd
terrifying.
be feasting on the outside. And I was happy to see because I'm a sucker for tight ends. I was happy to see Hawkinson go right back in there and play like he always does.
Oh
After
yeah,
getting his knee blown out by that dirty son of a bitch Brian Branch.
yeah. He's great too, isn't he?
Uh, like I wouldn't say he's definitely a top five tight end. I'd say
Yeah, I'd say that's
Hawkinson. It's like I want to say Kraft personally, but I don't know if he's quite there yet. He's probably this next season we're gonna see prime Kraft, but
Kraft is honestly, I would say, a middle of top 10 and top
he's a
5. He's
he's
probably
a
like a 7 or 8.
yeah he's a top 10 guy for sure.
Yeah.
Because like if you like it's no longer I wouldn't even say Travis Kelsey is a top 10 tight end. I,
Oh,
I wouldn't.
that's hard for me to say. Man,
Because yeah, the numbers
I
are there, but like his age is getting to him. He's not there anymore.
I get what you're saying. It's just I guess it's hard for me to
Oh, we gotta
uh
pause. We gotta pause.
okay.
We'll pause.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know if I could say Kels is not I don't know. I gotta see another year of Kels
But
before I
anyways,
can.
we're not talking tight ends. We're talking Vikings.
Yes, we're talking Vikings.
And yeah, they're not. They have some pieces like their O line. They addressed it, but the guys they got aren't the best. And
Yeah,
like
I mean,
there's a reason teams let those guys go.
yeah,
And it wasn't
yeah.
money. Well, it wasn't solely money, but
But I mean, their O line was better last year than it's been
it
in the
was
past
it
for
was a really
sure.
good O line until that left tackle blew his ACL
Yeah, then
or
they
Achilles.
were
Or, yeah, his
screwed.
ACL. It's just so like I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how their O line is, and I just it's got to be McCarthy they're rolling with. It has to be.
I mean, I'm guessing so. But if you roll with McCarthy, then you better make sure that your O line is gonna protect him, because otherwise you're gonna have another Caleb Williams kind of
Hmm.
show.
Well,
I mean,
it's going to be hard to top the Bears O line. Holy crap!
oh yeah. But I mean, with a young quarterback like that, you just gotta give them time.
Mhm.
You don't want them freaking running for their lives.
And it'll be interesting to me because Kevin O'Connell comes from the Sean McVay system, which is a lot of motion, but it is a West Coast offense, which means passing the ball. And I wasn't a McCarthy hater to begin with, even though I should have been because he's a he's a Wolverine and we're the Badgers. But it he can throw the ball. It's a reason he was considered a first round pick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I don't understand the hate he always got. Like, oh, he can't throw the ball. He comes from a run first offense. Like, yeah, he did, but that doesn't mean he can't make the throws. And if freaking Kevin O'Connell can do for Sam Darnold or for McCarthy what he did for Sam Darnold, then Viking fans have nothing to worry about. They got their guy.
Oh yeah, they should be excited.
Like,
I
how many
mean,
quarterbacks found the right coach and suddenly they took off? Like, Sam Darnold found his guy. And who knows, maybe he does know Clint Kubiak. He's used to him from this time with the 49ers, so we'll see how he does with the Seahawks. But all it takes is the right coach and the right quarterback, and you have a franchise.
and
That's the thing that could happen with McCarthy.
I don't think Sam Darnold's gonna have the career he had last year, or the season he had last
No,
year.
I don't think so either, but he's not going to go back to like, oh, here comes Sam Darnold. It's just he's probably going to go back to the category of you can win games with him, but not because of him.
Yeah, yeah.
But, but yeah, so that's the Vikings, which means we have to talk, unfortunately, about the Green Bay Packers.
The Packers.
Ah,
Yeah.
jeez. Just bottom feeders of the NFL. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Only 11 wins. I mean,
Yeah,
terrible.
they
But only
totally.
good enough.
Oh, I just.
Isn't it?
You did a lot of talking on them last time. This is my turn. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm
Let me
ready.
get the note up to make sure I say what I need to say because it needs to
Uh,
be spoken.
All right, get it all off your chest.
Oh, damn internet freaking load. All right, so let's just look at the gist of it. All right, let's just look at the let's just be frank, okay? Not Dave, not Doug. We're gonna be frank here.
Frank. All right, I like Frank.
I think as Packer fans, when I'm speaking for Packer fans here, I think we all got caught up in the we're the youngest team in the league. We were 2 games from the Super Bowl, and we could potentially be the most dominant team for the long time because we are the youngest team. But it never came to be. I think it's completely fair to say, with our expectations for the season, we all got caught up in that fantasy. And then, once the season started happening, and we were seeing like some of these struggles early on and some of these red flags, we just kept waiting for the team to get over that hump of like, all right, next week we're going to be there. It's all going to come together. And it just didn't. Things kind of just kept getting worse as the season went on. And
Yeah,
like, it's just weird because we somehow got better and worse at the same time.
yeah. Man, I don't know. I agree with that. I think our expectations were way too um high, which I think it's fair. When you come off a season like we did,
The way
uh,
the way it all was coming together those last 8 or 9 games of the season last year, or the 2024 or 2023 season, I mean. In the way we like the 49ers hurt, but we always lose to them. But that Cowboys game was like, holy shit, we can contend. Like we can do this with the youngest team in the league. And it's like we're going to only get better from here. It felt like the natural progression. And it didn't happen. Like Tucker Kraft got better. And that was kind of it for the rookies that got better, unfortunately.
yeah, the receivers all really, unfortunately, seem to take a step back, dropping passes that they should be catching. I mean,
And
Jacobs was the only bright spot really.
and that
Out of that,
so that's part of it too. Like let me go pros and cons here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So on the pro side, we have a great defense now. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's so much better than the frickin' Joe Barry defense. So
As
much
Pack
better.
as Packer fans, yes, we are. we,
Oh my
we can
god.
agree that defenses, to the Packers standards, they're amazing
We
right
were
now.
like bottom
So
25 and now we're like top 15. Okay, that's a
yes,
freaking significant boost. Like we can stop the run now.
yep,
And so that's one pro. And then keeping on the defense, Halfley, our defensive coordinator, was the only defensive coach to hold the Eagles under 22 points. The only one,
are you
right?
talking about that playoff run?
Yep.
Yep.
He was the only one to do it. And it's like, that's something to be said. Like, our offense that game lost us the game. Our defense was doing everything to win that game. The Eagles were
Yeah.
giving us every chance to win that game, and we didn't do it because of our offense. Now, we'll get to that. They're on the con list. But when you start looking at the players we got, and this is the pro side, we have a great tight end in Tucker Kraft. We have a great linebacker in Edger and Cooper. We have two amazing safeties in Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney. And we potentially have four great running backs. Like, that's the most wild part to me. We didn't see anything of Marshawn Lloyd, but everything else we saw from the other three guys was really good in either their brief or very long appearances. So
Yep.
there's still hope. Like this isn't like, oh, we might, this is the poverty franchise. It's what's on the cons list that puts us on the poverty franchise.
No, and I mean, everyone should remember too, if you're a Packers fan. Okay, at the end of the day, they still won 11 games, which I don't remember what they won 2 years ago, but if I remember right, it's a slight
It
improvement
was 9
still.
and 8.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean,
I was there. That was the win in an inning game. Like we needed to win against the Bears, and
but the division was just historically so great. I mean, to win 11 games and finish third in your division is kind of
it's what's
crazy.
crazy is like 2 years ago, the 2023 season, the AFC number one seed. I think they only had 12 wins. But then suddenly this last year, it's all 14, 15 wins. So it's just a game of football. That's how it is. But moving on to the cons list, this is where we need to have some serious talks and why I hate saying it, but we need to be put on poverty watch. Are you prepared for this?
I Yeah, let me get prepared. Okay, I'm ready.
Just chugging Crown Royal or something. All right. So just gonna shotgun blast it. LaFleur, Love, the offense all took a step back this last year. Special teams got worse. Uh, the guys we paid on the D line did not play like even average players. It, but the key factor here is LaFleur and Love and the offense as a whole. Because maybe for Love it is his sophomore slump. I hope to God it is. But if it isn't, we have a serious problem. Because we just paid this guy a lot of money. Technically made him the highest paid quarterback for about a week. And that Love, but the upside with Love is we already see in this offseason, he's put it like his footwork has been a massive problem with his accuracy and getting the ball down there or throwing his interceptions. But we see already with these videos that are coming out that he's explicitly working on his footwork. And I'm not saying I know much about coaching football, but when I watch that dude throw the ball now, it looks like he's firmly stomping his feet into the ground to make sure he's planted and to make those throws. So
Do you think the footwork was a lot of Love's issues? Because
it,
it seemed like one throw he'd do some amazing throw, and the next throw it'd just be like, "What the hell was that?" You know?
so yeah, there is the decision making aspect. And like sometimes it does look like you can't even see the linebacker. Like in the Eagles game, I think that second interception he threw, the playoff Eagles game,
Oh yeah,
like he just threw it right into the linebacker's chest. That was actually a timing thing because Kraft, like, I don't remember if he slipped or if he got chipped, but Kraft was supposed to be there and moving upfield, which was supposed to like shake the spy linebacker off him. But Kraft wasn't there. It was an entirely timing play, and it's a second. It was a second year starting, so you hope going forward he won't just like he knows it's a timing play. He needs to get that ball off, but hopefully he before he pulls the trigger on that going forward, he's gonna see that quick. He's like, oh shit, that play died, so we don't run into that again, especially in a game as important as the wild card.
Sure.
But LaFleur, there needs to be a serious conversation with him because his play calling when Love was out there was terrible this year. It was horrific. It was run the ball up the middle, stupid screen passes, throw a guy in motion for no reason, just deep routes. There was no play action. There was no creative play calling. There was no under center. There was no medium routes. There weren't many slants. But he was doing that stuff for Willis, the guy you're supposed to make the offense easier for. But why was the backup quarterback getting the more creative play designs than your starter? Why are you making the game harder on your franchise quarterback? That's what I don't understand. And it's
It's
like,
almost like LaFleur like has so much confidence in Love that he just thinks like Love's gonna be able to like take over these games and like
but
LaFleur doesn't have to.
you can't do that with the plays you were calling. Look at like I'm gonna cite this game for years to come. The frickin' Cowboys playoff or wild card game from a couple years ago. That was a
Oh,
masterclass in coaching.
yep.
Those were the best plays you could have called in that situation. Like there was so much play action, there was so much under center, there was so many creative routes, like getting these guys open rather than oh we're just gonna send you on a streak going deep. It's like where was the creative play calling? Like what? Like I don't get it. Like they were like all these throws Love was making into quadruple coverage because there was just a zone in the middle of the field where the guy had 10 yards of space around him. Why aren't you calling plays like that anymore? He just wasn't doing it. But when Willis was out there, he was calling those plays. So I don't understand why was he catering the offense towards Willis more than he was to Love. Love does great under center. He does great with play action. Why did you stop doing that? Why did you keep riding the coattails of Josh Jacobs and just running him up the middle when we saw he did so much better when he could bounce outside and just take off? Like he's great running up the middle, but when you don't have a good interior offensive line like we didn't have last season, why did you keep running him up the middle? There was so much play calling that didn't even make sense. And the play calling is one thing, but then there were so many other factors too, like his clock management atrocious. The game
Oh
stopped
yeah.
going his way. Trigger happy with the challenge flag. He was one
Oh
in
yeah.
seven with the freaking challenge flag.
Every time he threw a challenge flag, I cringe because it wasn't to me. It wasn't close. I'm like, how? Like, is someone actually telling him to challenge these plays,
I
or
don't.
is he just doing it on his own? You know, like I don't know.
Well, after he blew up in that, oh god, I can't remember what game. I think it was the Vikings game, the first one at home. Like you saw him lose his cool about a timeout not being called, and I agree. Like, why aren't they listening to you when you call a timeout? Why are they burning seconds? But
Oh yeah, he was like right next to the ref,
yeah,
and
he
he was
got
just
fined for that. He got penalized and
oh,
fined for it.
they
And so
fined him
this
for
whole
that.
season, it just seemed like he was just like just not all there, and he like in the this is where he really started pissing me off. Is through all the losses. I gotta read it here. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So after every loss we had, he always said it was on him. How he didn't call the best plays, how they were unprepared for man coverage, which is what he literally said in the Vikings away game, and then how they needed to constantly execute better and how they can't start slow. And did that. He said the same shit after the wild card loss, and like you are a head coach. You are controlling this offense. Why are we so penalized? Why are there so many drops? We led the leagues in the league in drops. Okay, you're saying, "Oh, that's on me. We gotta do better next time. We need to start fast. We weren't prepared for man coverage." Why weren't they prepared? Why do you repeatedly start slow? Okay, at some point, you need to take actual accountability and follow through on what you say you're gonna do. Even these guys that were getting penalized and doing stupid shit, you said, "Well, they can go ahead and spend the rest of the game standing next to me." Stupid shit happened, and he didn't do anything about it. He let them just run their mouth, keep getting starting fights, falling for bait to start a fight. It's just you weren't doing anything except calling plays. You weren't coaching. That's the way I saw that. How that whole season went. He wasn't coaching. He was just calling plays, and they weren't good ones either.
Yeah, and like you said, like you said, when Willis came in those few games, it was a totally different offense,
It
which is
was.
just wild. So like, Love's not that kind. I don't. I feel like Love's not gonna really be that quarterback, kind of like Aaron Rodgers, where
No,
he could
he's
just
not.
like, where you can make all these calls and like just take control of a game. He needs a coach like LaFleur to set him up to make the easy throws, and maybe get a rhythm going, and
Like,
then you can see.
it doesn't need to
But
be this overly complicated play where he needs to have pinpoint accuracy or be able to change the play at the line. He shouldn't have to. It'd be great if he could, and he does need to do that sometimes, but he shouldn't have to do that.
yeah, yeah.
And
So I know that's the frustrating part. You know that LaFleur can coach. We've seen it. We've seen it with Malik Willis. It's just again, like you just said, why does it seem like when Jordan Love is in, you're kind of taking a break? You're just like,
you get lazy with your play calling.
that's what it is. Yeah.
But like again, that Cowboys game a couple years ago, it's like that was such like every play was amazing. It's like where was any of that? Like I know every team you're going against is different. You need to have different plays for that. But the kinds of plays they were, where did those go? I don't understand that. And like yeah, when Willis was in, we were running the ball a lot more, and that's when the problem started. Like as soon as Love got hurt and Willis was in, okay, well, Jacobs, you're carrying the team for the next few games. But then he never stopped letting Jacobs carry the team. And I don't want
Oh,
Jacobs to be a workhorse, dragging the team, hurting himself because he's getting fed the ball so much. But when Willis was throwing the ball, they were such creative plays.
yeah.
And it's like
Yep.
even like Love is not a running quarterback, but he can run the ball.
Oh,
And
sure. Yeah.
Willis is a running quarterback. That's his whole play style. But there was like I had to write this play down in my own little playbook. Like it was like a double fake handoff, and like the guard was moving across the field to block this guy. The tight end was moving in for the guard, and they ended up getting like a 30-yard gain on it running the ball. It's like why is even when Willis is in there, like yeah, okay, we can talk about the passing attacks all day, but when Willis was in there, even the run plays got better. And it's like
Yeah, they did.
you are severely neglecting the fact that Love is a mobile quarterback. Not as mobile as Willis or Jackson or Allen, but he is a mobile quarterback. He's probably in like the Mahomes territory of mobile. Like he's quick.
Do you think
But
the injury to Jordan Love had something to do with it
so
this year?
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But like oh my god, I'm just remembering of some of these running plays they did. It's like why aren't like the reason they worked is because there was the threat of Willis taking off with the ball. Do that for Love. Do it because it worked. It can work with Love. And now, as for the mobility aspect of Love, he came out and admitted he came back a week too soon. That's why he hurt his groin against the Jaguars. But
Yep.
he was determined to come back and play. And I don't blame him. He's young. He wants to be out there. He wants to prove that he can lead the team, and he can. And it's like, but I should have known week one against the Eagles when we were getting beat bad and Wicks was dropping the ball so much. Like you could see him like waving his arms around, rolling his eyes. Like Love is such a humble guy. He's such a nice guy. For him to be pissed off means things really are not going well. Like there were some bad losses in the 2023 season. Even then, he wasn't getting upset like that. So it's just like so you just put it all together. It's all these factors, and it's just There, like if this same shit happens next year, like LaFleur and Goody need to be put on the hot seat, and potentially
Yeah,
Love. Because I said that in 2023 when things were looking like when we were like 3-4 or whatever. But I was saying like if the season continues as it is and it's proven that LaFleur is holding back Love, LaFleur needs to go. And it really seems like, especially with how this offense was when last season, it sure seemed like LaFleur was putting a leash on Love. Because like
yeah,
again, like we said, when Willis was out there, the play calling was so different. But when Love's in there, it's so basic and so predictable, so predictable. And
well, I mean,
even
there are people that argued when Willis was in there that the offense ran better. There was a time when Willis was playing while Love was hurt. People wanted Love to like, oh, just heal up more, because the offense was running um a lot better,
see
and that's just not the way it should be,
what I didn't like was people were saying, well, okay, we just wasted all that money on Love. Willis is the clear starter. I'm like, no, he isn't. Willis is not a
No.
clear starter. He just isn't. Maybe one day he might be, but he isn't right now. And but that I think people were misconstruing the success between who was at quarterback. It's like you could call those same plays with Love and they would work just as well. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing it. And I don't understand that. So that's why I say the Packers are unfortunately on poverty watch because this might be the start of the law of averages and it might be time. It might be coming up. I don't want it to, but it might happen if LaFleur keeps doing this, where he's not coaching, he's just calling plays. And it's like the more I watch the Rams and hear more from McVay, it's like, God damn it! Part of me wishes McVay was our coach. Like
Yeah.
honestly, after how LaFleur was last season, and I'm biased towards LaFleur. Like even like the McVay offense looks better than the LaFleur offense. It's just he knows how to coach a team better than LaFleur, it seems, after last season.
Yeah, I mean they went farther than the Packers did, so then
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that's I don't know.
You know who
It,
didn't
it
go
that
far though?
Oh, yes. The Chicago Bears.
Chicago.
They were not a shocker. And everyone talked up the Bears on the offseason. Oh, the Bears are going to be first in the division. The Bears, Caleb Williams, they're stacked on offense. They're going to be a
Caleb
threat.
Williams is the next Mahomes. It's just,
Yeah.
oh my god! I knew they were going to be third or fourth place, but I just I don't even know where you begin with them because like there was so many issues with that team. I remember talking to the Bears fan at work, and he was pissed off every Sunday. It was just,
I can imagine. They lost 10 games in a row. I mean, and then
it's
they beat the
like,
Packers.
yeah, unfortunately,
Motherfucker.
they probably the way I see it, just quick backtrack. Packers, in my opinion, got swept by the division. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if it wasn't for the
If it
the
wasn't for
missed
the
field goal,
literal miracle of the Chicago Bears being cursed, we got
they would
swept
have
by the
got swept.
division.
Oh man.
Oh, it wasn't even the kick either. It was just the bad play calling. Like, why aren't you calling a timeout here? Why did you call a middle of the field play? Like, what are you doing? But, but yeah. So the Bears, yeah, it's like Eberlus. He was terrible, terrible at play calling and terrible at playing the clock. And like
Oh,
the Lions
horrible.
game, like even Lions players, like, what the fuck has happened? Like they couldn't believe they didn't call a timeout that one game, the game that got Eberlus fired. It's like,
Wasn't that crazy?
oh man, it's like,
Was that the game? I think where like Payne Manning was watching it and he was literally like signaling for a timeout
no,
the entire.
that was a different game.
Was it? Oh,
That
well,
was
that's what I was. That's
that
what I was doing while I seen it.
that
I
was
was
the
like,
Broncos Seahawks week 1 2023.
oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But that was a meme used for the Bears because it's like even my cousin, she's not into football whatsoever. She was watching it because her mom was. She's like, why didn't they call a timeout? It's a great question.
Because they're the Bears.
It's like Caleb, like some of those games too, where it's like Caleb Williams through 3 quarters, like 2 for 7 or like 2 for 9 for 12 yards. It's like
Oh my god.
he was like those games were boring to watch, and it's just that you could see the potential was there, but it didn't help that he had like the worst O line in the league,
Oh my god.
and he was like
As
just
soon as
getting.
he got the ball, he had to run for his life.
I
Like
remember,
he was immediately scrambling.
I remember when they were playing the Patriots and the Cardinals, like why in garbage time, which was like the entire fourth quarter at that point, why in garbage time are you leaving your franchise quarterback out there to get pummeled until literally the final seconds and you see him get up and limping away? It's like, what are you doing? He's not learning anything. He already learned. His offensive line sucks. And I do
Now
have,
credit to the Bears. They're trying to beef up their offensive line now.
which like
So
again, on paper, well, yeah, they did. Holy crap. Jonah Jackson, Joe Tooney, Drew Daltman. I think his
I mean if they
think
if
his
they get blocked for Caleb Williams,
literally do your job once and you will see success, especially with Ben Johnson at the helm.
oh yeah.
Because like in the fact that Ben Johnson came out and said, I want to like we have great guys like Cole Kmet and DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. I want to build an offense for them. I'm scared of the Bears now.
Yeah, no
I
shit.
don't want to be, but I am.
No shit.
Because
I
if
mean,
we do what we did last season again next year, we are bottom feeders. It is. It's true.
we like we said, like I've said before, there's a real possibility the Packers finish last in the division, and it wouldn't even shock me.
It's gonna hurt
Because
like hell, but hey, at least my season tickets next year, or not next year, but the following season will be a hell of a lot cheaper.
oh hell yeah.
Oh, but good God, it's like it. The Bears, like yeah, they're winners of the off season, but I think this might actually be the first time it matters because they
Yeah,
have.
no doubt.
Oh man, and like the guys Ben Johnson hired, freaking before Ben Johnson was even officially hired by the Bears, we were already hearing that his pick for defensive coordinator was the Dennis Allen, who was like the #1 defensive coordinator before he got hired by the Saints to be their head coach. It's like, are you kidding me? That's already a progressive move. And now his assistant coach, or like, yeah, I think his assistant coach, or no, his offensive coordinator was this young, up and coming guy who's considered like the Ben Johnson 2.0. And if he's going to sit under Ben Johnson for a few years, like, what the hell? Why don't any coaches from the LaFleur system get hired?
Yeah, no shit.
It's just instead of being scared of the future, I'm gonna rejoice in the fact that they had a terrible season last year. Because it was just and like, but honestly, like as a football fan, it just got to the point where it's like, oh my god, guys, there's nothing you can do that works right. Oh my god. And it's just like Eberlus was the problem. Their original offensive coordinator was the problem. It's just, and like then they like promote this guy, they fire their guy and they promote the former Panthers offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator, and suddenly Caleb Williams looked really good. Well, the owners are dumbasses because then they said, okay, Eberlus, you're gone, hey buddy, you're the new head coach. He wasn't ready for that. They just figured out how to make Caleb Williams work, and then you take him away from focusing on Caleb and focusing on the entire team as a whole. So they were just cursed last year. And man,
Damn, I drafted Swift on my fantasy team,
oof.
and
I
yeah, I mean
forgot
he couldn't
about
do
that.
much with that offensive line. So
And
yeah,
people
that
are
was
saying
really...
he like so here I don't understand the hype around Ben Johnson and DeAndre Swift. Simply for the fact that when DeAndre Swift was with the Lions, Ben Johnson was with the Lions. When DeAndre Swift was with the Eagles, he wasn't good. And the Eagles have the best O-line in the league. And Swift was he was kind of just there. He wasn't like the guy who's another weapon. So I don't understand the hype around DeAndre Swift, even with Ben Johnson and a better O-line. I just don't. It's the guys you could draft that I'm worried about because there are like I just made my like top 5, top 6, 7 prospects for each position last night, which we can go over in the later video. But it's the running backs out there in a Ben Johnson offense. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be better than Swift. So, but Swift, like I said, he's gonna be there. He's always gonna be a reliable guy, but he's not gonna be that added weapon, in my opinion.
Well, I don't have much to say about the Bears except that they were absolute fucking dog water.
There's more
And
excitement about their future than there was to talk about their past.
yeah, I mean, like, there's just nothing really to like. They were trash. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say about the Bears,
You know,
man. Like,
I can go on about the Packers forever because we're Packer fans, but
uh,
it just seems like as a whole, the NFC North is still going to be a contested division, one of the more contested divisions out there. Probably the AFC North and the NFC North are the top two contested divisions, but it's just I think the issue is, as Packer fans are seeing, is the Packers have suddenly have more problems on their plate than these other teams do. Like it's clear what they need to do to fix their teams. It's not clear for the Packers what they need to do.
do you think the division can be as competitive as it was this past year, or do you think this was kind of just like anomaly? I feel like I'm on fucking Finding Nemo right now. Do you think like this was some kind of a
Anomaly.
what's the saying? Yes, yeah, rocking the bucket.
I think this
I don't
season
know.
was like a free for all season. Like this was gonna be the duke it out. Here we go. And it's like briefly looking ahead to the future. Like I said in the past, I don't know if the Lions can be as competitive as they were now that Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are gone. The Vikings have key pieces they need to fill. Their defense is going to be good with Brian Flores, and I'm sure Brian Flores is going to be a head coach next year. Or not next year, but the 2026 season. And like the Packers have a fundamental, like the guys we have now coaching the team, not sure if they're the guy. And the talent we have at wide receiver, not sure if they're the guys. And it's just and then the Bears, they have really good coaching tree now. It's really scary. So it's just like, but it's like the Packers. Who knows? Because it's not X's and O's. It's not pieces. It's whole like fundamental football that the Packers are getting wrong.
Yeah.
But every other team is like, okay, new X's and O's, new pieces here. That can fix their team real quick. But we are just a mess. So who knows? I don't know if we're gonna get another 15, 14-2 bout between the Lions and Vikings, but
I think I read that the winning percentage for the division, despite the Bears going like only winning freaking 5 games, was still like almost 70%,
oh yeah, we
which
had we had the most winningest division in the league.
I mean that's incredible. That's got to be like close, at least the record in like NFL history or close to it. I can't imagine.
You know what? Let's be fair to the Packers here, okay? Look at the teams they lost to. Okay, forget the Bears. We don't talk about the Bears.
Yeah, that never happened.
We got swept, so that's 4 games. Actually no, all 6 games were to the freaking playoff contenders. Swept by the Super Bowl champions, swept by NFC championship players, swept by NFC divisional players. So, or was it divisional or wild card? Either way, point is, every team we lost to, except the Bears, they were all contending for the Super Bowl, and that
I
kind of
guess
says something.
that's a good way to look at it, I guess. I
So, like,
mean,
on the one side of the coin, we lost to really tough opponents. On the other
yeah.
side of that same coin, that also means we're not playoff contenders like they are.
And I would argue, like you said earlier, I think we were the most competitive against the Eagles in the playoff run.
We
Now,
were.
it didn't feel like it to begin with because they still got dominated,
Mm,
but we still at the end of the day we gave them the best fight, and
In my,
that's including the Super Bowl. So
in my opinion, that Eagles wildcard game was the definition of any given Sunday, and we did not take the opportunity to win. We didn't.
we could have won
We
that. I
could have.
mean,
If our offense was even somewhat competent that game, we win that game. But then Reed
yeah.
got hurt. Watson wasn't there. Our O line was getting hurt. It was just a mess to begin with.
Mm.
And like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. McManus missed his second kick of the season. Like it was just
Oh yeah, I forgot about
it
that.
was it was ugly. It was not a good, it was not a pretty sight. But you know what? New season coming up. You know who knows? We'll find out. We'll see. I think our excitement will be determined by the draft, which 3 weeks away. So yeah, legitimately 3 weeks away.
And the draft, if you come to the draft and you spot us, we are giving away 100,000 yen. So if you find us and Carter's going to be there. So if you spot Carter and you say like, hey, I recognize you from Jump to Snap, you could be the proud owner of 100,000 yen, which equals, well, okay, that's still $683. So let's actually do 20,000 yen.
You'll get a crisp handshake if you.
there you go. You will get a crisp handshake and $5.
I am holding the football of therapy right now. Please don't ever make me offer money if they see us at the draft. I'm a broke college boy. Don't do this to me.
Carter's got it. He's
No,
got
I
it.
don't.
He's got it. We pay him. He's our editor. So
I get paid.
yeah.
But yes, draft coming up. That's going to determine a lot, especially for first-time head coach Ben Johnson, and what we do as Packer fans, what they do for the Packers. Probably be another 10.0 RAS score guy that wouldn't even be a good rugby player, but hopeful. We can hope. We can hope. But until then, all we can do is look back and reflect and make guesses about the future.
I like that, Carter. I like that. And I think that's a good way to sound off. We did the division. And I don't know what division we'll do. Well, yeah, we'll do more divisions.
There's
Just
8
chill
of
out.
them. There's 8 of them.
Relax. We're doing more. Chill the fuck out. We'll be back. But yeah, thanks for joining us and tune in next time.